Hello, everybody. We are at, well, everybody's feared. And is my reverb. Well, so today, the Crackdown 3 review embargo dropped. It was supposed to be on February 11th was the rumor, and they moved it to today. And, well, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of looking at the review, looking at the gameplay, playing some Wrecking Zone over the weekend. You heard my impressions of that. But this, as you know, and my voice and stuff, but I'm not gonna like review and slam the game and make fun of it and all this other stuff. I'm just gonna go like I always do and just kind of present what the industry is saying, and now where the shift has changed now because of Microsoft's direction, how some of the reviews now are acknowledging something that I've been saying, and people have been speculating and things of questioning, and that's where I have my biggest problem. That's what this is going to be about. Just from the reviews, but I'm not going to criticize the game because I haven't played it yet. I will try the game. I am going to play it. And I'm going to see how I like it. And then I'll post my impressions and stuff like that. But again, I only played the Wrecking Crew. I gave my criticism on it, but I'm not going to just, make fun of the game, because I'm going to explain what my problem is with it. So, yeah, I saw that. Hey, guys, what's up? So, this is the thing. So, the reviews right now, we're sitting at Crackdown 3 is sitting at a 62 Metacritic. All right, 62. I was thinking between 65 and 70. And anyway, who am I to guess? I just thought, from what I saw and the concerns that I had in the multiplayer, it definitely looks like, like I said, the multiplayer thing really hasn't been much of the focus of the reviews because I don't know if it was fully fledged. I know some people tried it, but I haven't seen too much of the multiplayer stuff. What's up, Jeremiah? How you doing? Hey, Meds. How you doing? Game over. What's up? Socrates. Yeah, Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry was very gentle on them, I think. I did listen to Digital Foundry's video. I think they kind of went gentle on it. They did say it runs at 4K, but it's like a dynamic resolution. But anyway, the technical aspects of it, and that it runs well on PC and stuff like that. But the thing is that this is yet another first-party game that is just not hitting the mark. And I stated in my tweet is the fact is that first-party games need to be your tent pole. They need to be the quality. And this is not a one-off. Like this game being like this is not a one-off. Because we put it in the same aspect as what we were almost a year ago. It's with Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 came out all buggy and glitchy. And the rarity is your Forza, like Forza Horizon 4, which that quality should be amongst all first party. And it's the rarity. And hopefully Gears is the next one. But them releasing in games that are buggy, games that have no content, games that are not fully thought out, fully developed. And just like on Last Night on Planet Xbox, I mentioned like something that they could have did in the multiplayer that if they really wanted this multiplayer to be something, there should have been some sort of like strategy or skill. Whereas if you use a rocket launcher, that will blow up the walls and your pistol can't blow up walls. So you'll have to be switching and balancing out if you want to destroy a wall. If not, that's not there. You could break the wall with a pistol because it just comes apart like tissue paper. And it's just, The thing is that we're looking at the reviews, and what I'm seeing is, do I have an echo? Oh, hold on. Is there an echo? Hold on. Maybe I have something there. But what I'm seeing is that, yeah, I know it's worse than it was like. It's Valentine's Day Massacre, and but the reviews are kind of going. I've seen a couple going. It's the Netflix original. It's both good and bad because it's fearful for what Game Pass might become. I think was that from Polygon? I think that was from Polygon. And then The Verge was like, it's the Netflix original. And already you're seeing people associate the game with the service. And I've heard too before that it's more of a tech demo. And it was a game built for the tech of the cloud rather than a game. And these are all the things that I've been saying a whole bunch of times, because this was my first concern as soon as when we were here in January of 2018 and Microsoft was like, all our first party games are going to be day one in Game Pass. I was like, oh no, like the shift is changing. The games that they're going to release are going to be for the service and benefit the try to entice a subscriber than actually just making a game for the gamer. And they could, but there's gonna be different aspects of it. Like now they have this model of distribution that requires a subscription. So a game like Sea of Thieves comes out and doesn't have all content on day one. The promise is that you'll get content, keep you subscribed. You look at Crackdown 3, the multiplayer has 2 game modes and 3 maps. No progression. And then you look at how the single player came about, and it's like they made it overnight. The repetitiveness of the missions this is from the reviews. Again, this is not my impressions of it because I haven't played it yet. I will do that. And I'll give you my grinds opinion on what I've played. I'll give you impressions. Probably not going to finish it. Who knows? It sounds boring, like that you just, after the first few hours of the game, it basically rinse and repeat, and you just do the same things. And the driving is atrocious, which, Crackdown, you never really drive. You like flying across the city. But it was funny because I was listening to Rand's video. You should definitely check that one out. He was saying that there are other games like Saints Row 4 that did the game better. And it was interesting because I've been hearing that as well, that there are other games that did this genre better than Crackdown, who kind of started this type of like open world game where it was like jumping over buildings and things like that. Yeah, it was a superhero game, but it was an original game that they had with their IP. And again, this is Crackdown IP. And this is my problem, is that this does nothing for the franchise. This doesn't revitalize it. This doesn't make you want Crackdown 4. And this is where Microsoft is falling flat on their face. They are doing nothing this gen to build IP, to establish something that you would want to play next generation and respect their IP. Say this is like, he played this game last year. Shannon Loftus, I put the tweet up. He's like, I played this. City is alive. And I played an excellent game with Shannon Loftus and blah, blah, blah. And then it was announced. It was supposed to come out November 20. And this was the beginning of, 2017. Then it was announced at E3 to be coming out in 2017, in November 2017. He played it in January and tweeted, oh, I played it. It's great. Then it gets delayed right before Gamescom when we didn't see the multiplayer. And everybody's like, Terry Crews, where is the multiplayer that you showed, the cloud destruction? I know that's a campaign. That's nice, but where's the destruction? Oh, people were saying Gamescom. And right before Gamescom, gone. Got delayed. November 7th, never happening. And then we waited all 2018 and found out at E3 2018, it got pushed to February 2019. So here we are. And like I said before, if you really want to see some hilarity, I know it's PR, but look why it's delayed. Oh, to give players the crackdown they deserve. I'm just give the crackdown they deserve. Yeah. So think about that, because they released this game and they feel that this is the crackdown that we deserve. And this goes to my whole thing. It's like they don't know what we want. They don't know. And it's so hard to kind of, because there's people that make fun of the game and people that just hate this whole thing and just want to see Microsoft burn, the big bad corporation. The thing is that I was asked, why don't you do the grind? Like, why don't you grind about everything? It's like, because I don't feel as passionate as I do about watching a brand that I believed in, a brand that carried me to a 2010 and gave me amazing online games and experiences and friends, and constantly evolved and pushed the envelope and got deals and made Xbox Live the best it could and made sure you could chat with friends and play with friends. To just watch it dissolve over the last 3 years into this thing that nobody asked for. It was a desperation and change in their marketing strategy and in how they handled the brand, and just watch it fall from whatever idolization that we had and watch them dominate with the 360, even crazy with all the malfunctions they had, to still push the envelope and still stay relevant in gaming, to just devolve. And that's what you just watched it, and then you watch their competition show that aggressiveness, go to their strengths. And it's just amazing how in the same week we've heard Sean Layden get up on stage, keynote at DICE, and talk about quality, first party, the best it can be. You make us better. And then to have Microsoft first party be this game totally opposite of quality, the best, to show the power of their hardware, the power of their services, the power of their ecosystem. And that's where my position falls into, because it is just disgraceful. It's not what we want. And then you watch when they show advertisements for a controller and they talk about third-party games, and they have Major Nelson wearing flowered shirts and cartwheels and onesies for Aaron Greenberg and goofy shit. And Ybarra playing on PC and saying goofy ass shit like you made a mistake by buying a PlayStation. And you hear that stuff. It's like, wake the fuck up. Just stop it, because your output is not matching your message. And they got a lot to earn. And they are becoming the laughing stock, especially first party wise, of the industry. And the reviewers are showing that. And people call it media bias. But you want to know what? How many times you release turds until you get called a turd? And it's just unfortunate, And when I saw Crackdown and I saw what it was and I saw the gameplay of it, I was like, ugh, like, yeah, it's Crackdown, but like, it's supposed to be next gen Crackdown, Don't say, oh, well, if you like the first game in 2007, then you'll like this game. It's like, and that doesn't help broadening your market, getting people who are not interested in your games. And this is the biggest problem I have. They keep talking about where they're going to put their games. And I always say, You got to see if people want to play your games. You can put your games on your phone all you want, but if it's a Crackdown 62 Metacritic game and everybody's trashing on it, nobody's going to pick up a phone or any device anywhere to play this shit game. And that's the biggest problem I have. They keep talking about play everywhere, any device, anywhere. And it's like, well, if you release content like this, it could be playable on any device, but nobody's going to want to play it. And that's the problem. And you might like Crackdown. You might like it. And I'm not saying you're wrong for not liking this game, even if it's a 60 Metacritic, 50 Metacritic. That's fine. And I'm not here to say you're a nut for liking it. No way. And if you hate it, you hate it. But you got to look at what their message is and the output that they're providing. And this is Game Pass fodder. And I don't know if Game Pass never existed, maybe this game would have been canceled. So maybe Game Pass saved Crackdown. Who the hell knows? But I'm seeing in the reviews, man, I'm going to refresh Metacritic again. Let me see. It was a 62. Think it did go up. Let's see. Nope, it's still at 62. But like, yeah, the Sharkdoid says Crackdown 3 is a good Crackdown game, which unfortunately doesn't mean much anymore. Game Revolution gives it a 60. They say it's still entertaining, a repetitive kind of entertaining. You'll get kicked out of smashing robots with your bare hands. The Guardian says, really, it's the kind of game that's best enjoyed when you don't think about it very hard. It'll make 12 to 15 hours disappear. An app trigger, I don't know what the hell these people are, but they say Crackdown 3 is a severe, outdated sandbox. They give it a 4. That neither pushes boundaries or evolves itself in any way. And who did it say? EGM, Electronics Game Monthly, said Crackdown 3, they give it a 70. Is just more Crackdown. For some players, that will be enough. But compared to what Crackdown 3 initially promised, what we ended up with seems like lacking in depth and destruction. Now let's see who else we got. Attack of the Fanboy gave it a 60. Short and not very good. Crackdown 3 has few things to point to as reasons to exist. The Guardian gave it a 60. Really, it's the kind of game that's best enjoyed when you don't think about it very hard. Oh, I think I read that one already. Windows Central gave it a 60. Crackdown 3 doesn't meet contemporary standards as a premium $60 title. And that's something to know. This game's a $60 title. People just say it's Game Pass. Like, no, it's $60 on store shelves with 2 game modes and 3 maps and this poor single player. And they say with dated visuals, thin gameplay features, and under-delivered story. There are too many open-world superhero-style games that simply do it better. The Sharkdoid gave it a 60. Crackdown 3 is a good Crackdown game, which unfortunately doesn't mean much anymore. I think I read that one too. Jesus, the Escapist gave it a 60, saying Crackdown 3 is an enjoyable mess. Screen Rant gave it a 50. Crackdown 3 is an Xbox 360 game pretending to belong in the current console generation. And GameSpot, I don't know why they gave it a 5. And they say it's large and bombastic with plenty of chaos and collateral damage, but few redeeming values like a video game version of Man of Steel. And our good friends at Kotaku, dopies. We've ended up with 12 to 15 hours of, they didn't give a review yet, of uncomplicated fun that recaptures the good stuff about the first 2 Crackdown games without offering much of an evolution. It's like the last 10 years just didn't happen. And Polygon says Crackdown 3 is a playpen. They didn't have their review yet up of their score. But I don't think they do the scores. Playpen of combat and destruction. It sets itself apart from liberating journey into a barbarous fantasy of wanton mayhem. The fuck are they talking about? But its central proposition is the freedom to do as I please is undermined by the frustrating design compromises. And Xbox Tavern says Crackdown 3's campaign is shockingly underbaked, consisting of a little more than overly repetitive mission structure, hit and miss functionality, and several technical issues. I've yet to try Wrecking Zone. His personal provisional score is a 45 at Xbox Tavern. So those are the comments that people saying. Game Spew gave it a 90. Forget Crackdown 2 ever happened. Crackdown 3 is the sequel, well deserved. God is a Geek gave it a 75. Loud, brash, and gleefully addictive. Crackdown 3 is unashamedly fun, even if it does feel like more of a remake than a sequel. And Crackdown, and then Gaming Trend gave it an 85. And it says Crackdown 3 makes no sense on paper. Its story is nonsense. You spend way too much time searching for hidden orbs and leveling up, and the presentation isn't anything spectacular. Well, that don't sound like an 85 start quote. Over the top minutes is hilarious. Yeah, and also too, the co-op got downgraded. But anyway, those are the comments. And yeah, I agree, Jemiah. Like Metacritic, it's an aggregate website. I think the averages are all I agree. It can, different places like a 4 out of people do a scale of 5, some people do a scale of 10, some people do a scale of 100. But you want to know what? It's an aggregate. It shows what everybody's saying. That's why, I don't want to read all the numbers out. I'm reading the comments. See, that's the thing. Look at the quotes that come out of these articles. So you guys are looking at reviews. Yes, the number's there, 62 Metacritic right now, right? But read the first, even if you don't want to read the whole article, just do what I did. Read the sentences that they're saying, the hooks, their general impressions, their summary. And those are the sentences that you need to look out for. And then look at the titles of the reviews, where they're going a Netflix original or good and bad for Game Pass. Is this the future that we're going to get? Look at that stuff, because that's what I look into. And I look at how the industry is absorbing this and how they're responding to this. That's how you look at it. Yeah, it's a 60. It's a 6. It's. I think it's going to get worse than. Yeah, I thought it was going to get at least between a 65 and a 70. This thing's looking closer to lower 60s. I think it's going to be worse reviewed than State of Decay and Sea of Thieves. And again, this does nothing for their IP. This was an established IP. It had 2 sequels in the 360. They could have revived it. Look what they did with God of War. How, God of War was it ended with Ascension, right? And that wasn't really well received, God of War. And then they just did what they did. And now they make you hype for God of War 2 and where it's going to go. That's what Microsoft really needs to do. And like I said before, I don't know if they can do it. I don't know if they know how to make games. And I'm telling you right now, these studios that they got, looking at what they've been producing with the studios that they have, doesn't give me any promise that we're going to be getting that next tier level game from any of those people. Because nonetheless, a majority of those studios, we know they're not a whole bunch of they're not like 400 people strong or anything like that. They were double A's. They made little games here and there, some indies, and Microsoft's building them out. But they were not making blockbusters. And on top of that, did you see the Hellblade stuff? Like Hellblade is going to the Switch. Games everywhere. Microsoft wants to put their games everywhere. And I know that might have been done already, but Microsoft could have squashed that and just said, my thing about it was Hellblade could have been maybe an IP that Microsoft could have got from Ninja Theory. Like they could have expanded on Hellblade and made it kind of like their IP, like their Aloy or something like that, or like make her one of their mascots or one of their things and build IP off of Hellblade. Yes, it was there, but instead, and maybe they are, but it's very interesting that they're going to put it on the Switch. And maybe it was done already, but there's games everywhere on every device. Let's see, what are people saying? Yeah, Jump Force bad score. Yeah, I saw it, Andrew Wilkins. What's up, guys? Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you. 28 people watching. Yeah, I know that Jump Force thing. I played V All Stars. I had no clue what the hell that thing was. I saw it on sale and I played it. And yeah, that game has more destruction in it. I know it's different looking. It's more cartoonish. But like when I saw the gameplay and play the beta of the JE All Stars, I was like, ugh, like it's just open arena. Like there's no destruction. Like there was no trees falling down, stuff like that. And yeah, it didn't get good reviews. And then the animations when they showed the story mode, I was like, oh, this doesn't look too good. And was so excited. It says, as a PlayStation guy, they have 3 studios out of 7, I think, will come out with bangers. I hope, I think Playground Games can. I think they could do. But State of Decay, we saw what State of Decay 2 is. And if they're going to do State of Decay 3, it's amazing how they used a different engine and had the same glitches that they had in the first game. It's just the polish. It's first party. These are exclusives. Even if you call them Windows 10 and Xbox exclusives, these things have to be top notch. And like I said before, Game Pass really wasn't the talk of the town until Microsoft said all our games are going there. So these games are another reason why people might subscribe. But when they come out like this, 62, 61, everybody's just like, the game's garbage, the game's boring. Like, I just don't understand their logic. These are the tentpole games. These are the reason why you subscribe. It's for their games. They're first, because they're day and date. Third party's not doing it. Yeah, they might put like Shadow of Tomb Raider now after months of it being out, but nobody's doing day and date big games like Division, Anthem. Nobody's doing that day and date in Game Pass. They're the only ones that are doing their games in Game Pass. Big, like supposedly first party. If they're supposed to be big games, it's supposed to be big games. But again, they talk about how more people play games and more people buy games. The thing is if that's what you're looking at, you just give people a way to play like an unlimited subscription. Yeah, they're going to play more. Of course, they're going to do more because they got a bigger library. It makes sense. But what you're not talking about is the quality of your games since Game Pass. And what does playing more mean? You boot up an extra game that you were not going to boot up before because you have a library of 100 plus games. Obviously, if you're paying a subscription, you get 100 games. Of course, you're going to play more because you got a whole library of games you never had before. And you're going to click on them, see what they're about. That's great. That's engagement, right? But what you got to ask is, look at your review scores of your games since Game Pass. Look what your quality has been in the last 3 years. This is not... The thing is like, this is not just Crackdown came out in a mess of like Microsoft had a great track record. Their quality has dropped significantly. It has. The only saving grace has been Forza. And Gears 4 was the last one, and even that was safe. And Rob Ferguson said it. They were just playing it safe. And we need to see what Gears 5 is. And I already have some doubts at Gears 5. Not from the gameplay, but just the way the marketing's going for it. And I hope they don't pull some bullshit where, like, they only give us a few maps of Gears 5 at launch because it's about the story or more gameplay, or more multiplayer is coming later on. Like, I hope. I really hope they don't break it down like that. But you got to look at the Game Pass model. Are they going to give you a full-fledged AAA like what they did with Gears 4 or Halo 5 day one on PC and Xbox? Full, like, everything there? That you could play it in a month? Or are they going to break it apart and kind of do what they did with Crackdown, where they, hey, here's 3 maps. We're going to do more later on, or like we did with Sea of Thieves, like just sail around for a little bit. We're going to be adding more enemies and things later on. I don't know. And this doubt is not good. And, you know, we'll see when I play the Crackdown, see what it is. But we are here on V-Day, Valentine's Day Massacre. And we're at a 62 right now. And, yeah, it is what it is. It's going to be worse review than anything. So, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I hope Gears 5 is good. And like I said before, though, like if you look at the marketing for Halo and when they're talking about, oh, we made a mistake. People didn't like the single player because we focused on Locke and not on Master Chief. Okay. What are we doing with Gears 5 now? We're focused on Kate and not Marcus and his son. You know, they're calling it a mistake right now in Halo. I hope people don't take Gears 5 and we just got the you know, we just get Kate's story and people are like, well, this could have been like a Gears expansion. It doesn't really feel like Gears 5. I don't know. I don't know. And I wish, and then this is the biggest problem I have. And I'm going to, I think, wrap up on this thing because I might do another one. And I want to thank you. Episode 50. I just hit 200 subscribers. I want to thank you again. Share, like the video. I've been fighting through a cold for the last week or so, but I wanted to get my opinion out there with you guys, and you guys love the content and, you know, all the stuff that I have to say, and I want to thank you again. But, you know, what I'm going to leave it as of right now, and, you know, as the day goes on, he was a boring-ass character. He had his own movie. Locke had his own movie. But, yeah, Buck actually kind of made him better. Like, you know, Buck was the comic relief with Locke's team. But the thing is people go, well, you know, give it a break. Stop, you know, beating up Crackdown, beating up Microsoft and so stuff. The thing is that they're deflecting. Thank you, Savage Yoga. They're deflecting, like, and this is the thing. Like, you listen to them interview and talk, and they talk such a big game about how they, like, I listened to the DICE presentation of how xCloud is going to change everything, and you know, and little John, like I said, Johnny on his phone. And like I said before, you know, when you have a phone and you got to bring a controller with you, that exists today. And I bet not one of you could tell me a person that you've seen in public with a controller docked into their phone. Maybe at PAX, maybe at a game convention, playing some emulators, but Android Bluetooth controllers have been around. And as soon as you add an accessory to your phone, it defeats the purpose of mobile. The whole purpose of mobile is pulling out a phone that's always on you and playing the game. Not about, where's my Xbox controller? Let me strap this in so I can play a little bit of Gears of War while I wait for my McDonald's. And public Wi-Fi spots don't give you enough bandwidth anyway to even watch a movie, even hotels. So there's a lot of things that they're not really addressing. And they're talking about this wonderful world that we live in. And on top of that, they never have been speaking about what the pricing will be. Because I could guarantee every person out there is not going to pay $60 for a stream-only game. And I guarantee you out there, you are not going to pay extra money to stream your library to you, because you're not going to say, like, okay, well, here's your game, and you got to pay another $20 or $10 a month for you to stream those games remotely. Or are you going to pay $10 to play this game for 24 hours? Stream to your phone or stream to anything? Are you going to pay to rent? The pricing structure is going to be huge and where streaming is going to be. And nobody knows this stuff. And that's huge depending on success. Price and what am I getting for the price? So when everybody says this is the future, you got to watch because there's a lot of factors, and there's a lot of factors that Xbox, Google, Apple can't control, like bandwidth, like availability. And I'm going to tell you, when they compare to Netflix of gaming and music, and games are going to go there, well, the difference is gaming requires input, an input device. Movies don't, music doesn't. Gaming requires user input, either through touch, through voice, through controller, through keyboard and mouse. So there's a huge barrier there that you can't just say it's the Netflix of gaming. You need to control input. If you want to watch somebody streaming, that's fine. But if you want to play a game and feel like you're playing it, it requires input. And that's unlike music and Netflix. Yes, and streaming means you don't own your games, and you can't mod them. Yeah, all that stuff. And also, too, the gaming people, gaming, and they'll say like, "Oh, kids want." I'm telling you right now, I don't give a shit what generation you are, but if you push a button and you don't feel like you're controlling that person on the screen, I don't give a shit what generation you are. If you grew up with an iPad in your crib, you're not going to play that game. And I don't care what generation you are. iPad in a crib. If you release games like Crackdown 3, people know quality, no matter what generation they are. So you talk about the future. If this is your future, you're dead. You got to make games that people want to play, and people will find ways to play them. But if you make mediocre shit, Game Pass fodder, nobody's going to play it. And that's the problem. That's the problem I have. Quality should be the utmost importance, and especially in the service-driven market where you could just drop on a dime. I don't want to be paying for this anymore. Just like TV, there's PlayStation View, there's Hulu, there's DirecTV Now. I've been jumping back and forth. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like the app. Cancel. Give me I'm going to another service. Meanwhile, I was with Xfinity Comcast because they had me renting boxes and stuff. But meanwhile, when you have a service and you don't like it, you cancel it immediately. It's all about quality. That's why if Nintendo and Sony keep what they're doing, and now, and I'm telling you, just look at Nintendo Direct yesterday, right? We have so many inside Xboxes. We had XO18. We shipped everybody down to Mexico. And you look at in Nintendo Direct, that Astral game, new IP, out of the blue from Platinum. Looks like co-op. Holy crap. That game looked awesome. It actually looked like a little bit like a Crackdown, Bayonetta, Nia. And you're like, what the? Whoa, what is this? And you look, and I looked at the chat, and the chat was getting hyped up. They're like, what is this game? What is this game? Oh, I think it's this. No, brand new IP. And then they look and they get that Marvel deal. And they got Marvel exclusively coming there. Mario Maker coming June. And they did more in that Nintendo Direct than we try to get out of anything on Inside Xbox. And you could say Inside Xbox is not what it's about. Hey, what's up, Fonzarelli? How you doing, man? He says the exact reason they bought great developers is to make quality games. They're addressing the issues. I hope I know that's probably their intentions, but, we need to see the results. And I know that's the benefits of next gen and when they're doing it, and we're not going to wait until see it. But you know what? I can only comment on what I've seen out of them. and what they have done with the money that they have, the Microsoft money, the power of their studios, the power, they got everything. Rare has it. And look at what we're getting. So these double A's and whatever they're gotten, whatever studios they purchased, I do think the Initiative is the one potential that might have it in Playground Games, but the other guys have yet to prove themselves in making a big game. I think they're going to make good games, maybe, but it's the thing is that we could cross our hands, hope and pray, but we talk about it as we're staring at a 61 Crackdown. Like, and that's the thing. And then we look at a Sea of Thieves and look at the promises with that. That thing was in beta for over a year. We provided feedback on it. And it still was not what we wanted. And then State of Decay 2 with the bugs and glitches. Like, who is given the green light to release these games in the state and conditions that they are? That's my concern. Where is their quality control? And Obsidian's game does look good. That does look good. But they have yet to work on their new game under Microsoft. This is the game they've been working on. So let's see what Microsoft do it. My thing is I think Microsoft purchased these studios. You got to look at what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is not in the business of making games. Microsoft is in the business of having developers use their technology to make games. If you listen to everything that they say, they are making they want their technology to persevere. And maybe at the cost of their IP. Just look at Crackdown. They wanted the cloud to be something to show developers, to inspire them to say, you could use cloud like we've used it, or use it somewhere else. Why they're putting their games in Game Pass? Because they want other developers to use that model. They want their services and features to proceed. Look at DICE. They're talking about putting Xbox Live features on other devices because they want people to use the SDK. Microsoft is in the business of selling features, services, and tools. And I think that has come as the cost of making really great games just to make games to tell stories. And I've said this before. I feel like the other competitors are making games as an art form, as a way of telling a story, as a narrative, similar to like a movie, similar to like a book. Whereas Microsoft is being more technical. They're trying to show this is what you can do with our tools, our distribution model. And as Microsoft being a tech company and having other competitors, I could see them, they bought, GitHub. They've got Havoc, Simplagon. And I know Sony bought, I think, the audio company, but Microsoft really is pushing their distribution, their technology and tools, because they want to sit back and just say, hey, this developer over there is using this, and that's something we created. And they could sit back and just get kind of the royalties of that. But I don't know if they really are going out of their way to make a game to tell a story. I haven't seen it. We see them with Gears and Forza. No, not Forza, but Gears and Halo. But I just think, like, I would like them to get back to establishing IP. And unfortunately, what we see with Crackdown is that that doesn't do anything for the IP. I liked what they were doing with Killer Instinct. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Fonzarelli. Exactly. To sell their services and be successful, they need to produce games to sustain. That's what they need to do, and that's the thing. They need to show. They need quality games to show that the service. They need good games. They can't just say like this is for the tech. And that's what I've been seeing. That's what I felt with the Wrecking Crew. Like, yeah, the tech, but you got to have a great game behind it. And maybe with these studios, and again, maybe they get in there and they make these guys make what they want, but we don't know. We don't know. And that's the scary part about it, is that, they did shut down a lot of studios. Like, they closed down a lot of stuff, and they're basically starting again. with these studios. And the games that they've been putting out and the quality, it's unfortunate. And, when it comes to competition and when the rubber hits the road, everybody's going to have clouds. Everybody's going to have services. It all exists today. But what makes the things unique is the content of those quality and services. And that's what Microsoft really needs to ensure quality. They can't just make Game Pass a dumping ground and just go, well, there's 100 games in there. Even if our game is trash, there's 99 that they could potentially play. No. And their marketing and selling of the games. And you see, it seems to be shifting away from the selling and marketing of the games and more about the marketing of the service. It's more about like, they're not advertising Crackdown, Crackdown, Crackdown. It's more of advertising Game Pass, Game Pass. Oh, and Crackdown's part of it. There's a huge shift. And it's definitely driving the service of Game Pass than the game itself. And when you look at what everybody else is doing, and that's the thing, I could see Microsoft shift in focus if the industry was failing, if the industry was going down the tubes, and console sales were down, and the Switch released and it's not selling, nobody wants it, and PlayStation old console, nobody wants that. People are playing on the go and they don't want to sit in front of their TVs, and I could see the shift in focus. But when you look at how the Switch is selling, and you see how the PlayStation has sold and is continuing to sell, and they're just being traditional models making very high quality games that make their platforms unique. And you look at Microsoft, and they're just like scrambling around, throwing ideas all over the place, going, we're going to put it on a phone and on a tablet. I don't care. Androids, iOSs, anybody who wants to use it will use it. And you look at, and it could be considered visionary, or it could be considered as desperate. Because what they're doing in the back, it's like a train. Like you got PlayStation, Nintendo with the locomotive in the front driving the industry forward with unique games, great games, every remasters, remakes, special things. And you got Microsoft in the trolley car, like just going crazy, yelling like drunks in the back, going, we'll put things everywhere, but it's not about games anymore. It's not about Xbox. We're going to change our names to Xbox Game Studios, even though because we put games on phones now. It's like, you were better named as Microsoft Studios. Now you called Xbox Game Studios, but because you put your games everywhere. I don't know. That makes no sense. You have an Xbox console, but you call yourself Xbox Game Studios because you put your games on phones and PC. Okay. But that's the dichotomy. And you look at traditional consoles, and you're like, they're dead. Everybody says they're dead. They said they're dead at the beginning of this generation. They thought Xbox and PlayStation were done. Nobody wants a console. Everybody wants to play on phones and tablets. And look what happened. PlayStation sold more than friggin' the PlayStation 2 is going to sell. And we're looking at what we're at right now. And Microsoft is changing their strategy. And they have devolved. They have dissolved into just try to go everywhere. And trying to be this embracing thing. Whether success, whether it is, I think they will still be relevant. I think they'll still be around, but not in the same way as this console business. And the thing is, I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but in everything, exclusives matter. In the world of normalcy, in the world of everything's the same, you could subscribe for Hulu, you could subscribe for Netflix, you could eat at McDonald's, you could eat at Burger King, you could eat at Wendy's. Everybody has a pull. Everybody has an exclusive. You could order Showtime, you could order HBO. Oh, but wait, HBO has Game of Thrones. Oh shit, only on HBO. You could watch AMC. Oh, AMC. Everybody started making original content to make themselves different. They didn't do syndicated TV. the same show that's on every channel. No, let's make unique content so people come to us. And Microsoft's doing the opposite. They want to put their unique content on everything, which turns their service into a thing. So, like, it's the battle of the services right now. But when you look at what the content they're producing, that really doesn't support the words coming out of their mouth. Because if Stranger Things was shit, nobody would want to order Netflix to watch Stranger Things. But Stranger Things is the hotness. You get people that never subscribe to Netflix subscribing to Netflix. I just saw what, and it's everything. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just gaming, it's everything. And when you see Sony and doubling down on exclusive, high quality content, that will attract the attention of people interested in the gaming structure. But when you see Crackdown 3, State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, Quantum Break, and you got a couple of gems here or there, that's fine. With Gears of War and Forza Horizon. But thanks, man. Thanks, Fonzarelli. I know. You know what? It's all over the place. And I'm telling you, I listen to your stuff too, Fonzarelli. I appreciate you coming out. The thing is that we're at a crossroads right now. And we're at a crossroads where we have people saying that, you know, they're buying studios, which is great. I'd rather have Microsoft buy studios than just say, you know what, guys, hands up, we're out of here. We're done. Download Word and PowerPoint. We're out of here. I'd rather Microsoft say, no, we're buying game studios. And whether they put their content everywhere, they put their content everywhere. And that's great, because if you just want to switch and you could play Microsoft games, that's great. But my concern is just the quality of them. And I really hope that Microsoft makes sure, and Matt Booty ensures that they release quality. And if they have to delay a game, it better be delayed in quality, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I know that's what Sean Layden was saying, is like, you know, if I have to delay a game to make sure it's the best it can be, the best it can be. Like, Days Gone got delayed. And the way they keep showing it keeps building up better and better. So, you know, we're at a crossroads here. Whether Microsoft is going to just have their studios just make Game Pass fodder, or they're going to make quality content that attracts people to subscribe to Game Pass. And that's the crossroads that we're at right now. And there's some people, pessimistic like myself, that going, I can only comment on what I see. And what I have been seeing since Game Pass is that Microsoft just seems to just get it out there, you know? And I hopefully that we're at a crossroad. And then you get people that are optimistic, where they go, they wouldn't be doing this to make crap games. Of course, you know, they wouldn't be buying studios and investing in all this money just to make garbage. And again, unfortunately, we're at a point where it's wait and see. But again, I try to predict, but I only comment on what I see and what I'm getting currently right now. And as an Xbox fan, what happened is that I went ahead and I was just, when they announced a $500 X, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go use that money and try to get a PlayStation. And I got a PlayStation last year, and I played those games, the Uncharted, the God of War, and just saw these games coming out. And I would look at my Xbox going, God, whoa, what's going on, man? Like, am I going to get this from you guys? And I didn't feel like I ever had that experience before. And I would get it in other ways, like with multiplayer and fun and with Halo and all that stuff. But, you know, it's been dry. And Halo 5 didn't have the hook with my friends that it would have. Like, I played a lot of it, but Gears of War 4 dropped off because I think everybody was burnt out by Gears of War Ultimate. We had too much Gears of War. I think that was the problem with Gears of War, is that they gave us too much of it. Gears Ultimate, then they gave us the 4 games for free and all this other stuff. And by the time Gears 4 came out, everybody was like, I'm done with Gears. Well, I played it for a month, and all my friends dropped off of it. That's when I played. And yeah, and I agree. And that's the thing. Like, PlayStation hit their niche. Like, they hit their thing. And they're going to ride it high right now. Now, whether they could sustain that quality, I think now Sony is going to put themselves in a position where they have this this expectation. So if they drop a game like a 62 Metacritic or something like that, people are gonna be like, whoa, what's going on with Sony? So Sony is really, and I think they realize the boat that they made right now, like the bed that they made, is basically go, oh shit, people are expecting Game of the Year contenders from us. Delay that game until it is a potential Game of the Year contender. And I think that's why Sony is taking a step back in what they're showing, what they're presenting, and getting the hell out of E3, because I think they put this precedent on themselves, heavy lies the crown, basically. And they are, yeah, I totally agree, Fondarella. Yeah, I totally agree. The PlayStation 5, they've done everything to establish themselves for the next generation with these IPs. And, and that's why I feel bad for Microsoft, is that, I think they did well with Killer Instinct. I think if they revive Killer Instinct for next generation, I think that's one game that they were able to kind of revive and sustain. I liked what they were going with that. And without this, Doc, stop making Microsoft mediocre the topic of conversation. If it's shit, just ignore it. Yeah, you know what? Oh, it's today. You know what? We don't know what today was. So mediocrity is the topic for today. But and I think Sony realized that they gotta not show games too early, because if the game is not the quality that people are expecting from them, yeah, they're gonna get hit hard. So it is what it is. I just hope that Crackdown is the end of this whole thing and not the start of it. But it's just interesting seeing the reviews. And shout out to the 43. I think 49 people watching. I want to thank you so much. Hit that like button. Share the video out. Or dislike if you don't like it. But I'm not here to make fun of the game, laugh, ha, pointing fingers and things like that. There's genuine concern. And that's why I can grind on everything, because not that many things get me kind of worked up. Like, I'm not just gonna say, I'm gonna fake here and just yell and scream about stupid stuff. No, man, are you true? Smooth said he unsubbed. Hey, I'm not talking about any bets or anything like that, man. That's his deal. He made those bets. I didn't make them. I don't bet. But anyway. Well, we'll see. And, maybe this E3 is the start of something different. If you want to leave something optimistic and not just be so much, but, if you want to have some optimism, maybe this E3 is when they kind of turn the tides and they start showing the games. And, and like we say, competition is good. And, I think Sean Layden acknowledged that too, where he's like, don't underestimate Nintendo. And the success of Nintendo is going to push them to do shit. Look at the Wii. The Wiimote waggling all over the place. They made Xbox, they made Microsoft and Sony go friggin' ape shit with motion controllers and all that other crap. That's what competition does. Everybody wants to waggle. Everybody's like, give me my waggle. Microsoft's like, you'll have a camera to waggle. Everybody went crazy. And now Nintendo with this portable kind of taking on the go, I guarantee you probably the next generation of console is going to have the similar thing. They're going to be like, oh, take your games on the go. Because they saw the success of the Switch. And that's what competition does. It makes people think outside the box and do things. And just like how Game Pass, I think, evolved PlayStation Now. I think the success of Game Pass and that whole thing was basically made PlayStation Now go downloads. I don't think they're anticipating downloads, but that's what Game Pass did. So they're competitive, and maybe Microsoft will pull out some of their services and things that make everybody else go. But, read the Crackdown reviews. It's going to be a bloodbath. Hey, thank you, Beans. Thanks for subscribing. It's going to be a bloodbath today. And, again, there are people that seek joy in this. They make fun of it. And it is what it is. And it went twofold, because when Spider-Man had the puddles and all that stuff, it goes back and forth. All I tell you guys out there in the war zone is, if you can give it, you better get ready to take it. And that's all I have to say, because if you guys want to make fun of this, get ready, because when it happens to you, you're going to get it back twofold. And that's how I always say. So if you're going to give it, get ready to get it back. Because you can't give it and think that you're going to be free and high and mighty, especially with the receipts of Twitter and digital media. And yeah, I think PlayStation now is evolving. And you know what? As somebody who really didn't own a PlayStation 3, and guess what, guys? You're going to freaking not like me. I never had a PlayStation 2. I owned the PlayStation 2 for one night only to try San Andreas. That was it. And I returned it the next day because I was like, I was playing on Xbox. I was like, oh my God, this game is. I never had a PlayStation 2. Never had it. The PlayStation 3, I got it with God of War. And I play that, Killzone 2 and Uncharted 2. And that was it. No party chat was horrible. Coming from Xbox, the PlayStation 3 and the controller was horrible. And I thought the same was going to happen on the PlayStation 4. When I was like, you know what? Microsoft's just not doing it because Microsoft was focusing on Kinect with the 360. I was like, you know what? Let me go try the PlayStation. I did it with the PlayStation 4 and I was like, holy shit, this system is great, the PlayStation 4. I'm like, wow. And the games and the stuff that they're doing. I'm like, whoa, this is great. And that's kind of where I came from because it was like basically I'm like, holy shit, like I completely just like play on the PlayStation 4 and I was like, and then I have a PC and I'm like, I could just play my Xbox games on my PC because I bought a PC because Microsoft said that they were going to support games on Windows 10 and I'm like, I don't want to wait for the X. I want to play them better now, so I got a PC for it. And I also bought a Vive because Microsoft said they were going to support VR. And they were selling it at the Microsoft store. So that's why I'm a little bitter at Microsoft because I invested a lot of money based on their promises, and I could be a fool for that. You know, I bought Windows Phone just so it all integrated in one family, and I believed a lot of the stuff that they were selling. And that's kind of why I'm bitter and grinds my gears right now because I felt like that, you know, I invested so much into their belief system, and I believed in them. I went to the Windows Insider. I was a Windows Insider. I went into their device night and bought a Surface book and bought a Surface Day 1, the Surface 1, and the Surface 2, and the Surface 4, and the Surface book, and believed in the Windows 8 touch screen and all this other stuff. And I bought computers. I bought Xbox for my parents because of Kinect, that you could just talk to the TV and use the remote and you integrate it all with the infrared. Like I believed in this vision. And I wasn't a fan. I just believed in their ecosystem and believed in all the promises they made. Like, this is going to work. This is going to work with this. And then they abandoned Groove. I had Groove. I have a $100 12-month Groove pass right here because I would get those Groove subscriptions with the work and play bundle. It's garbage because they abandoned Groove. I bought a Zune. I've been doing it for a long time because I was never a huge fan of Apple and I went all into Microsoft stuff. But I always had Xbox was my core. Xbox brought it all together. It all worked together. And just to just hear what they're saying and how they just want to just spread their IP and just the words that come out of their mouth now is not my Xbox. I'm like, that's not my Xbox. You know? That's not what I signed up for. And when they say the console's the not most important person, it's Johnny with the phone. It's mom with the iPad. It's Fred on his PC. You're abandoning your core. You make a game console. You need to make sure the power, the services, the software are maximized on their console. Not that games run best on PC and the console does it just about underneath it. And that's why when people go, well, why are you upset that it goes to PC day one and how does that affect you on Xbox? The problem is that to a developer that is multi-plat, and if you listen to Seamus Blackley on why a console exists, it's a fixed environment, closed environment to maximize the potential of a game. Game, software, and hardware merge together. That's why iPad is more successful than an Android tablet. Because their software and hardware mesh. It's built, customized for that hardware. That's why we have consoles. That's why God of War looks like it does on whatever teraflops you have, because it is targeted for a specific spec and closed system. And that's the beauty of a console. And when you are selling a console like Xbox is, you can't just abandon that and turn it into a device under your TV and tell me to spend $600 and $500 on it. It should give me a unique experience the best, because it is a gaming platform, a gaming console. And that's where the messaging all goes out the window, because it's like you want to be everywhere, but you're still selling a dedicated gaming device. You know, you can't be friends and enemies at the same time. You know, but again, I'm losing my voice again, guys. I want to thank you again for coming out, because I'm not going to repeat now what I say all my other shows. And, you know, people say they don't want to keep hearing the same thing. But you know what? Until it changes, those are my problems. And that's what grinds my gears. And I want to thank all the grinders out there. 50 people we are watching. Hit the like button. And I appreciate all the support you grinders have out there. And, you know, maybe I'm going to do a show where we get you guys on here and you tell me what grinds your gears, whether it be technology, games, no politics shit, though. And then maybe we'll do that. Because, you know, I think everybody has a voice and everybody has an opinion. You know what? And this is just my opinion. I'm not telling you it's right or wrong, but this is how I feel. And I want to thank you again for coming out. And have a good day, everybody. Stay safe. Happy Valentine's Day. And if you're really upset about Crackdown reviews, you could get a whole bunch of chocolate and just veg out in front of TV and eat chocolate, ice cream, and chocolate today. And thank you. I'm not going to get my goal if I keep doing these rants. But I want to thank you again, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Grinds my gears, Jez7780. I'm out. Thank you again. Talk to you guys later.